Hello and welcome to Drilling Deeper at mining.com.au. I'm Oriel Morrison. With me today is Ivan Fairhall, the Managing Director of Pivotal Metals. Ivan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Oriel. Great to be on again.
Now, congratulations. You've just received some grant funding for your Horden Lake project in Canada. Can you give us an update as to where you're at with those funds?
Yeah, that's right. So pretty exciting. We got 120,000 Aussie dollars effectively from the Quebec government, and that's a grant that was issued essentially for metallurgical test work on the Horden Lake project. It's non-dilutive, it's no recourse co-funding, and in fact over the weekend we got the first $70,000 was put in our bank account for that. So this grant's focused on supporting projects to advance towards development, projects just like Horden Lake, and they recognise MET is so critical, and so do we, and it's why it's very timely, I suppose, that we get this grant. It comes off the back of some really important results that we recently released, and we've shown that Horden Lake metallurgically is very robust, and it gives the project huge potential. We've got high copper and byproduct recoveries, making very clean concentrates, and we've identified lots of areas to improve and optimise, and so this funding can be used towards that. And I think the thing that kind of in parallel, it's not just the money itself, and in this moment, it's probably worth reflecting on what support like this means. This is a small part of a very big and sophisticated program to support critical metals in Canada and in Quebec, and consider things like this and the flow through share scheme. Like, serious money flows to junior, even very small companies like ours. It's the support that they show. It's not just lip service. They're pro mining. They recognise the potential of projects like ours, and they put their money where their mouth is. So just really happy to have that funding. Helps us continue on, and it's a real stamp of credibility on the project as well.
It absolutely is, and what wonderful timing it is, Ivan, as well, with the copper price where it is. Where does that go to from here?
Well, look, it's everyone knows where copper's going. You can read it, pick up every analyst report, and it says it's going up. There's not enough projects that have the potential to be mined. And they know that, and these things are all interrelated. They need to develop these projects, bring them up the curve, because they can see that there's this deficit, and when you get a deficit, you get higher prices. So, but importantly for the world and for these countries, you need to actually have the metal. That's what they don't care so much about the price. They care about the metal, but the fact that there's a shortfall in metal tends to have an impact on price, which is pretty exciting for investors.
It absolutely is. Ivan, you've released your quarterly update. What are the highlights from your perspective?
Yeah, busy. Another really busy quarter, and they're quite important developments. So just to summarise quickly, I suppose the first one, we did a major EM survey. Had some eye-opening stuff showing huge depth and strike upside potential. These are areas that have never seen a drill hole, so it's really like a zoom out moment and think about, well, how much bigger can this get? We did that metallurgical test work I mentioned before. I just can't emphasise how important this is for deposits. It sets discoveries apart when they start to become projects. These are things that have demonstrable potential to be mined one day once you start to tick these boxes. And we've got a lot of copper in the ground, and we've just shown that you can turn that into metal. And that's got some people's attention, actually, because of how important metallurgical test work is. And I guess the third big development is we were back out there with the drill rig. So more step-out drilling. We want to keep going. We want to make Horden Lake bigger. We had a focused drill program extending out the sort of open pit potential, a long strike targeting shallow mineralisation to extend the deposit another, sort of 20-30% in terms of strike extent. Assays are in the lab, so watch this space.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting when those results come back. Ivan, what is next for you? What's the timeline?
We're not stopping. We've got a resource update. So we did some drilling last year. We did that network. We're putting all that together to put out a robust update of the resource. That's due out really quite shortly. We've got those drill results. It's a new area. And we just, that's going to help us show how good the EM, which I mentioned was one of the things we did. We've drilled one of those targets, and I think we're hopefully going to be able to show how good EM is at predicting where the mineralisation is, and it allows us to target more in the future. And we're also commencing work on our BAGB exploration properties. Just a reminder, they're very high grade copper, nickel, PGM, but also bonanza gold. And we highlight in the quarterly that our neighbour, a Canadian company called Vior, they're really flying. They've just raised $40 million to go and drill the property that's next door to ours. It's a historically gold producing mine. So we've got some potential down there that we're going to look at. It's exciting to get down on the ground there. So yeah, lots to look forward, busy times, and keep an eye on the company.
It's certainly going to be a big year 2025 for you. Ivan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.